Alan asked a good question over here that he wants to know what is this that Pele Yoetz says in section 20, just as speaking Torah is the matriarch of all good and all perfection. So where do we find this expression that Torah is a matriarch?
Where are you again, please?
Page 14, number 20.
Got it. Thank you.
So in the Hebrew, this is a fancy word that our translator has used over here. In the Hebrew edition, it says just calls the Torah the aim, like kibud av ve'em. Torah is the aim, and this we do find this expression. We find the expression aim. It's aim hayeshivas. And of course, yeshiva is the place where Torah is learned. That's the place of Torah. And the expression of aim is very apropos. It's used. Where did that start from? That I can't tell you either. But I do know that it is something that the Jewish world relates to. There's something called an Aim HaYeshiva, the one who nurtures and supports and is the whole foundation of, just like Aim Habayit. She's the foundation of the home. She is the home. She's the one that supports and nurtures and so that's what Torah is. Torah is a nurturer. It is a supporter and a foundation of all the mitzvahs. Like we say, the Gemara says, Godol HaTalmud shemevi lidei maisa. The Gemara asks, which is greater? What's the greater mitzvah? To learn Torah or to do what it says in the Torah? That's one of the questions that the Gemara asks. Many different places it asks this question. And the Gemara answers, Godol HaTalmud. Talmud is greater. Learning is greater than doing. Why? Because through the learning, the doing becomes so much greater. So that's the Gemara's answer. So that's the aim. Torah is the aim. That's the foundation. Okay. Oh, so I think this is where we got up to, actually, didn't we? Because we were doing, last week we did the Gemara in Menachos about Chachmas Yavonis and learning Chachmas Yavonis. That was the Gemara in Menachos, 99b, which was the last paragraph, paragraph 19. So now we'll continue with paragraph 20, and we'll call upon Alan to continue our reading on this Erev Shabbos.
Just as speaking Torah is a matriarch of all good and all perfection, the opposite is also true. One who increases idle speech increases sin. The legs of anyone who sits in the synagogues of ignoramuses, who set themselves to discuss idle matters, already locked in chains, and the evil inclination sets a trap for his feet. Whoever stands up to leave from such a gathering as a box of impure creatures, sins, and iniquities hanging on his back. For example, slander and mockery, lying and indecent speech, harmful speech, public humiliation of others, reciting Hashem's name in vain, and other such evil wrongdoings. Even if speaking idle words, discussing the country, the Gentiles, and the government is the only one of these that he has violated, his sin is great. For behold, our commentators, Lev David, Lachida, Parrot 24, declared that idle words are to be the covenant of speech, as the wanton spilling of semen is to the covenant of circumcision. Moreover, it is written in Malachi, you have tied Hashem with your words. The Holy One, blessed be he. There was no tiredness when I created the world. What makes me tired? The person who speaks idle words makes me tired. Woe unto one born of a woman who causes tiredness to the exalted and sublime king. Our sages in Ketubah said, a person should not sit his ears to hear idle words, for they are the first limbs of his body to be singed in Gehenna. Behold, as such, fortunate is the man who did not sit in the assemblage of scoffers, but finds his place between the knees of Torah scholars, or sits in isolation. He will not be counted in the lot of ignoramuses.
Mhm. Okay, wow.
Does that mean that the word ignoramus,
That's just an expression. That's how they translate Amei Haaretz.
oh, I see.
People who are not involved too much in Torah learning.
Uh-huh.
So this is there's a particular emphasis over here, not simply on studying Torah, but on speaking words of Torah. Because like the Chafetz Chaim says, a person he's a medaber, he's a gregarious being. Hashem created him with the ability to speak. That's the way Hashem wants the person to be able to speak. And he speaks and speaks and speaks, and he talks and talks and talks and talks and talks. So we have to we have to try as much as we can that our speech should be elevated speech, because it's such a large part of who we are, and it affects our spiritual standing. What we say by the goyim, they don't look at it like that. The goyim is talk is cheap and action is the real thing. But the Torah doesn't look at it like that at all. Speaking is a very, very big part of who a person is, and therefore that's why he's saying over here, the Pele Yoetz, how important it is that how important it is that our speech should be in Torah, speaking words of Torah, divrei Torah. And there's a famous Vilna Gaon on the Mishnah that we say every day in Maseches Peah. Elu dvarim she'ein lem shiur. These are the things that have no shear. What's it mean? It's got no shear. The Vilna Gaon says. Everybody thinks that what it means is, like we said yesterday from the Gemara Menachos, there's no end to how much mitzvahs a person can amass through learning Torah. He can learn Torah day and night. V'gisa bo yomam v'layla. He meditates on the words of Torah day and night. There's no time that he's not able to fulfill a tremendous mitzvah of Talmud Torah. The Vilna Gaon, he says it doesn't only mean that there's no upper, there's no roof, there's no ceiling for the. You can go. There's no limits. He says there's no limit at the bottom of the barrel either. Even one word, a person says one word, he's got a mitzvah of Talmud Torah. And that mitzvah of Talmud Torah with that one word, says the Vilna Gaon, that's what we say when we say every day, Talmud Torah keneged kulam. Even one word is keneged kulam. It's hard to understand, hard to imagine, but that's what that's the value of Torah. This is the value of Torah. And of course, we could say just one thing. Why is Torah so valuable? Because someone who's learning Torah, he's really delving into what is Torah. Torah is Hashem's ratzon. So this person is. This is what we have to keep in mind, that whenever we're learning Torah, Hashem is talking to us, and He's telling us what His ratzon is. And like that, we become knowledgeable in what the ratzon Hashem is. And if we take it to heart, of course, so it affects the way that we act, affects the way everything that we do, and the activity itself of engaging in that is keneged kulam, is greater than all other mitzvahs. Okay. And a round of applause for page 14. And the matriarch, the aim.
Right.
Aim of the Torah. So that, in other words, the aim of the Torah, the matriarch of Torah is speaking words of Torah. That's the matriarch. That's the support, the foundation of everything. Section 21 on page 15, we go to Roy to continue.
An indecent thought defiles the soul and drags other evils behind it. One sin begets the next one. This person come to have a willful erection and a wanton omission of semen, which is a very severe violation. Our sages in Yom already said the thoughts of illicit behavior are more damaging than the illicit behavior itself. The sages in Nida also said a person who intentionally has erection should be excommunicated. The Mishnah states an even greater penalty for a seemingly lesser crime. A person who directs his heart to idleness, behold, he is obligated for his life. Our sages in Shabbat 149a comment on the verse in Vayikra, do not turn to the idols. Do not remove God from your thoughts. And it is written in Devarim, guard yourself lest you forget God. As such, only with strength does a man succeed in removing inappropriate and indecent thoughts from his heart and illuminate his insides with the light of Torah and the fear and love of the awesome and revered God. As soon as one thinks of anything wrong that he does, he must flee and save himself from the quicksand of sin. One should not gaze at the iniquity. He should focus on rectifying his sin instead. He must exchange and substitute bad for good. Behold, so much good is achieved because the fear and love of God are constant mitzvahs. They become his lights.
Okay, so this is what the Pele Yoetz concludes this paragraph with here, that what is going to keep a person away from thinking these types of things or viewing things that bring him to those types of things is Yiras Hashem and Avas Hashem. Meaning that what? Meaning that he wants to come close to Hashem. He wants to have a relationship. He wants to feel the closeness of Hashem and know that he is close to Hashem. And he fears not being close to Hashem or distancing himself. And so if a person has these, he says these are constant mitzvahs that we are commanded. They're both one of the both of these two. Yiras Hashem and Avas Hashem are two of the 6 constant mitzvahs that we always speak about and we always refer to, and they can be performed every moment. Every moment we have a mitzvah of loving Hashem and fearing Hashem. That we because of our love of Hashem, we want to always stay close and be closer and even closer that we can, and that is our desire. And the fear is a fear of losing that, of becoming distant and detached and not connected at all to Hashem. And again, if we don't feel these emotions, we shouldn't be concerned. That's not an indication of our of whether we are fulfilling these mitzvahs, whether we are doing this mitzvahs, but just simply our thoughts are with Hashem. A person's thoughts are with the one that he loves, and so therefore, if our thoughts are of Hashem is this what Hashem would want me to do? That itself is an expression of love of Hashem, and just to feel gratitude to Hashem is an expression of Avas Hashem. So they are going to become as lights, and as much as we can do that, so that will be our that's what illuminates the way. That becomes the way that we want to go. Okay.
I have a question.
Hashem. Yeah.
Question at the end of 21. It says one should not gaze at the iniquity. He should focus on rectifying his sin instead.
Yes.
He must exchange and substitute bad for good. Behold, so much good is achieved because the fear and love of Hashem are constant mitzvahs.
Right.
And his lights. And substitute bad for good? I don't understand that.
Right. In other words, let's see here. This is number 21. I just want to see how he expresses it over here.
Yeah, how does that in Hebrew?
He mentioned that. Ilazos lo b'koyach yigba ish lahavir makshavos zaros v'hirhurim ra'im melibo. This is a commandment that the Torah commands us to not forget Hashem. What's it mean to not forget Hashem? It means to he's connecting this to keeping our thoughts and what we're thinking about with good things, and not with what's the opposite of that. And a person's not responsible for the first. This is what everyone says, that one shouldn't be down that he thinks an inappropriate thought. It popped into his head. He's a human being, but what we're talking about over here is that what he should do is that he should endeavor with all of his might to remove those inappropriate thoughts, indecent thoughts from his heart. And how does he do that? Turn his heart to Torah. Turn his heart to other topics, and like that he won't be involved in thinking about the wrong things. And this that he says, don't gaze at iniquity. What is that referring to? Takev bezachro es asher lo tov, ose yivrach vinatzel mitit hayoven. Liyiro la'avas Hashem hanechbet v'anora takev bezachro es asher lo tov, ose yivrach. Yeah, I don't actually see this. He says below yobit oven. Okay, that's how he's translating. Lo yobit oven. He shouldn't gaze at oven. Oven is iniquity. Yeah, here that's all the things that he's been talking about so far. Things that are inappropriate and not proper decent thoughts. So he shouldn't. What does it mean that he shouldn't look? Does he mean literally looking, or looking with his mind, imagining? You could include many things over here. Either one of those things are included, of course. But once he does see or think, he endeavors to remove. Yisakin muvaso. He should endeavor to correct the matter. Kasher lamed vav yachlifu v'lamed vav yamir oso. Oh, that's interesting. Kasher lo yachlifu lachifenu v'lo yamir oso. Okay. So that's I can't translate it too much better than the translator has done over here either. He must exchange and substitute bad for good. In other words, the idea that the Torah is telling us is that the way to do when somebody is confronted with an improper thought or an improper sight that he sees, the main thing is what he should do right now. Instead of trying to push away that thought or push away that sight, he should turn his head somewhere else and go look somewhere else, or go start thinking about something which is Torah, which is good things. That's what he means by substituting. That's the, instead of trying so hard to prevent those thoughts, he should start thinking good thoughts and seeing good things. You know, in my shul, when they have Kriyas Torah, and after the Kriyas Torah, they give somebody the honor of raising the Torah, right? And everybody says, Zosa Torah asher sam Moshe b'nei Yisrael al pi Hashem Moshe, and there's people there that they run over to be in behind the one who's raising the Torah like this, so that they can see the words of the Torah in the Torah scroll, and even they start to jump up and look to see it. Even they could even actually read the words, not just to see that there's a Torah scroll over here that has letters on it, but to be able to read the words of the Torah inside, because the Mogen Avram says that this is a tremendous rectification for any improper sights that he has seen. This is the rectification for seeing improper sights, is to replace them with seeing sanctified and holy and Torah sights. So that's the eitzah that he's giving over here. Substitute bad for good. Exchange it. Okay. Okay, section 22. We go to Lou.
Looking at women is itself a sin and causes many other sins. For the eye sees and the heart crafts iniquitous thoughts. And it is written, you should not go astray after your hearts and after your eyes, after which you stray. Our holy sages already testified that whoever looks at women will come to sin. Even the children from his wife may be considered bastards because he drinks from one cup while putting his eyes in another. What is the word that you're translating as bastards?
Probably a mamzer. I'll take a look.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yochelios shiyu banov mamzerim.
Mamzerim.
Yosu shosim because zev and nosin eno because acher. It doesn't mean literally, right? Because he's not actually he's together with his own wife, but this is one of the things that it actually does say over there in the Gemara, over there in the Dorim, that the whole focus when one is together with one's wife should be on the wife, and any thought about anyone else, and certainly another woman, is totally inappropriate, because the whole idea of that is that there's bonding here now, and so that's the so when he's thinking about another woman, so that in a certain, and we know that the power of thought, that is so I believe the Gemara itself says over there this idea about the bun of mamzerim over there. It's not the Pele Yoetz is not saying that as a flowery lashon. He's bringing the Gemara. We could look up the Gemara if you want.
Yeah, I'd like to, but let me finish the
Yeah.
Evil overtakes him, and he wantonly has a seminal emission. If he has any indecent thought, he is punished for inciting his evil inclination and damaging his eyes and the eyes of above. This is the cause of people who have eyes but cannot see wisdom. Their eyes are sealed from sight, for their hearts being able to understand, from their hearts being able to understand. Our sages said, God declares, who does not look at women belongs to me. As such, a man must gird his strength to close his eyes so as not to see evil. From turning to the goddesses, whether they are daughters of Israel or daughters of Gentiles, a Jewish man must say, I made a covenant with my eyes. How can I fix my eyes on a virgin? By virtue of this commitment, he is spared from any evil, plague, or sickness. He merits to see eye to eye the pleasantness of Hashem, and he will be like Yosef, who controlled his eyes. What is the word that they're translating as virgin?
Oh, yeah, this is a pasuk in Eov. Basula.
Basula.
Ma'is phonin al basula.
So
That's
that's
the, what?
that's the 12-year-old. No, that's a
She has, she's not married.
she's older than 12.
It's not dependent upon the age.
Oh, she's
Basula means
female
that
that's
she
not
has not
married?
had. Basula means that she has not had. She hasn't been together with a man.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Very good. So a round of applause for page 15.
Did you want to look at Nadarim?
Sure. This is Nedarim 20A. Okay. Nedarim. Oh, we got 4 minutes. Let's find this very quickly. Nedarim 20A. Yeah, I'm looking for this language of Bonov Mamzerim over here. Yochol lios shiyu Bonov Mamzerim ve'ishtoi ve'yoso shose b'kos zeh v'nosin einav b'kos acher. When he's drinking from one kos and he sets his eyes on a different kos. Altar b'sichei ma'isha shesof kol avoli de liuf. Rabbi Achab Rabbi Yoshi Omer kol atzofa b'noshim sofa boli de avera kol mistakil ba'keva shel isha havin lo banim she'enu mehugonin. Rabbi Yosef will be ishto nida. Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish akeva dektani b'makom tneifis shu mechaven keneged akev. Tani b'vor tiyeh yiraso ha'pneichem zu busha l'bilti sechto. Malamit shabusha maybe the yiras chet. You can't undo simen yofa ba'adam shu baishan. Chayvim call adam hamasvayish lo b'mehera uchote o misha ein lo boshes ponim yiduish lo umdu avoisa b'har Sinai. Wow. Okay, but we don't see this lashon that the Pele Yoetz is used. Maybe it's over on the other side of the Amud.
I see Mamze Rose.
Yeah, where?
On B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 lines down. First word in the line is Be'ain.
Yeah, good. Okay, so what's this is this famous story with Rabbi Eliezer. Shalom es ima, Shalom, that was his wife. Mipnei ma. Bonecha yof yofin. Why are your children so attractive and beautiful? Bioter, so much so. Amar lohen, she said to them, Enu mesaper imi lo betchilas alayla lo besof alayla el bechatzos alayla ukeshehu mesaper megala tefach mechasa tefach doimo lov kamisha kof shade b'mati lo matam amali kadesha lo etain es eini beisha cheres. Rabbi Elazar said that the reason for all of his seemingly extreme behavior when he was with his wife was because he was very concerned lest he have thoughts of another woman at this time. V'nimsu bonov boin lidei mamzerus, and as a result of thinking about another woman at the time that he is together with his own wife, his children would come to bonov boin lidei mamzerus, that they would have the taint of mamzerus. So there we have the expression. It doesn't mean that they're actually mamzerim, of course, because that would only be if there was actual the Maisa itself was done with a different woman, and that would mean a woman that was forbidden to him, a woman that was married to another man, or a woman who was an erva. By the way, a woman that he could marry would actually, Okay, we won't get into that.
I'm feeling better. I'm
Let's
not.
not get into that.
Cough is gone.
That could very well be what Eob was talking about. Eob said, "I've made a covenant with my eyes not to set and not to even to look at a woman who is not married and who I would be permitted to marry her." That's what it means over there when it says over there a basula who is not yet lived with a man because she's not married.
What are you gonna do?
Technically speaking, she's permissibly, totally permissible to him. It would not be an erva.
Oh,
It
right.
wouldn't be a forbidden relationship. But even that, he's not thinking of marrying her, and like that, he made a covenant that he's not going to
Is
not
there
going
any
to look.
legislature today? Are they debating it, or is it just the paperwork?
Okay. Yeah, this is what it says over here from the Shita Mikubetzis. This is Shita Mikubetzis says Kol Mishamish Bekos Zeh Benosin Eino Bekos Acher. Someone who is even though he's together with his wife, but he's thinking about a different woman. It's as though he's doing the physical act with that other woman who he's forbidden to. And the children have a blemish to them, which is ke'ein mamzeres, which it's not actual mamzeres, but there's a blemish. Wow, strong words from the Shita Mikubetzis. It's as though it's regarded in some way, ki'ilu noldu al yedei isha acheretz, as though that this child was given birth to by a different woman. So all the commentators here are busy trying to understand and explain this very seemingly extreme language over here. That the Gemara mentions that Rabbi Eliezer was concerned lest his own children should come to be mamzerim. What does that mean? So they're all busy trying to understand what is that? How does that work? What does this mean? What's Rabbi Eliezer saying? Okay. That's the story, everybody, from here.
Okay.
All the best.